Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really.
Lacrosse is a high-intensity contact sport that requires an assortment of pads. One of the most important pieces of safety equipment is the helmet. The helmet protects the athlete from direct blows to the head from lacrosse balls, sticks, helmet to helmet, and the ground.
Other equipment such as mouth guards and cups are required by all players.
The helmet can prevent a variety of injuries ranging from periorbital ecchymosis to facial fractures and especially concussions. When putting on the helmet, the thumb should be placed on the inside at the ear holes. Pull the helmet starting with the back in a downward motion. The brim should be 1 to 1 1/2 inches above the eyebrow line. The chin strap should be centered and the helmet should be snugged. That doesn't look right. Let's tighten the chin straps, making sure it's protecting the jawline. If the helmet is too tight or impeding the view of the athlete, it may be too small. All these provisions are essential when fitting an athlete to provide them with the best protection. That looks better. The next piece of protective equipment is the shoulder pads. The shoulder pads are pulled over the head, making sure it's centered. Collar pads should lay flat along the collarbone with the caps hanging 1 to 2 inches off the shoulder. The placement is important in preventing injuries to the SC, AC, and glenohumeral joints. Make sure the sternum pad is centered and covering the entire sternum. This pad is optional and, as you can see, is absent on our athlete. Another optional part of the shoulder pad is the bicep guard. They should hang down covering the superior portion of the biceps and be tight. The bicep guards can often be restricting and most players choose to cut them off. When all these measures are met, the shoulder pad should be tight without restricting movement. The elbow pad should cover the elbow entirely without restricting motion. The elbow guard should be snug but not too tight. Make sure the elbow pads are on their respective arm. Also be sure that each pad is fully covering the olecranon. If there are gaps, it could leave the athlete vulnerable to injury. Gloves and elbow pads protect the athlete from scrapes, contusions, and fractures. To fit the gloves, the athlete's fingers need to be fully in the glove. The cuff should sit 2 or 3 inches above the wrist, with the wrist guard tightened enough to hold them, but not tight enough to cut off circulation. The athlete should also have full control of the fingers. Goalie equipment is very similar to field players' equipment. They wear helmets, chest pads, and gloves as well. Their helmets must have neck guards to protect themselves for all the shots on goal. The chest pad are a little bit thicker than the field player for the same reason.
The goalie may wear other pads such as goalie pants, shin guards, and a padded jockstrap.
NOCSAE, or National Operating Committee on Standards for Athletic Equipment, is the governing body for lacrosse equipment. All equipment is assessed at the time of manufacturing as to whether they meet or exceed the set standard. A passable piece of equipment has a logo and/or the words "Meets NOCSAE Standard" on the product. While there is no requirement in the standards for frequency of recertification or reconditioning, maintenance is usually performed at the beginning and end of each season. For an athlete to play with a cast, he needs written clearance from a physician. Without written clearance, no hard pad on the hand, wrist, forearm, or elbow is allowed. The cast needs to be covered with at least 1/2 inch thick padding. If the standard glove is too tight, the athlete has the option to wear a hockey glove instead. Before the game starts, the coach needs to present the cast with padding to the referee to see if it's acceptable.
Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the.
If all protective equipment is worn properly, the athlete's potential for injury is greatly decreased. And always remember, if you do get injured, your athletic trainer is there to help.